What is up, Surviv Alert Nation? I'm your host Firewave, as always, along with SJ Cryptic. Alright, let's get into the news.
Yo guys, ASMR Cryptic here. Stick around for the end. There's a pretty funny blooper of Firewave. Also, please like this video. It really helps getting into the algorithm, and I really want this channel to grow because the more it grows, the better content I'm able to produce. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd appreciate if you subscribed.
Our first story involves how dramatically numbers are dropping for Congress, even more than Cryptic had originally estimated. More to talk about this is Cryptic.
Alright, what up everyone? It's your boy, Cryptic, the guy that nobody asks to speak but speaks anyway. We're gonna talk about how dead Surviv is. I talked to you guys about how Surviv, as of January, was getting 120 million hits a year, and now it's dropped down to about 90 million in a year, which is 244,000 a day. I recently found this old change.org petition I made to send to Nick and Justin. Here I had the numbers from a year ago. I think it's a little bit over a year ago. I think about 13 months ago. 730,000 per day. That's 3 times the amount of hits per day that they're getting now. If we look at their numbers over a year ago compared to now, they've actually decreased in pretty much all the social medias. On Twitter now they have 46.2k followers. Before they had 48.9k, so they've dropped what, like 6k in a year. And if anything, I've actually never seen a social media like this that's actually dropped over a year. On Facebook they have 135,000 people following, so they've actually gained 10,000 followers in a year, which isn't much considering that they gained 125,000 in 2. In Surviv they have 257,000, before they had 258,000, so they dropped 1,000 subscribers in a year. And on Instagram they had 41.5, so they've actually gained 5k in a year compared to the 41,000 that they gained before. So it's concerning numbers on all fronts. Not too much else to say about that, just really concerning that the numbers have dropped down that much.
Our next story involves some issues with the development of Surviv. The community originally thought that developers weren't listening to Libby, or Libby was not collecting information. It turns out that the content that the developers are sending out now was established before the devs even saw the info the community had been putting out. Here's what Libby had to say about the issue, and I quote, "As has been stated many times, this being contact mode is the beginning of changes I have been able to help make through careful notation of the community's comments. I started at the very beginning of March, and everything that's been out before last week was something planned well in advance of my arrival. So I'm the person who's been pushing for changes announced last week from my day one." End of quote. Really concerning that the developers made 7 weeks of content in 3 months and weren't willing to tweak anything once Libby had input from the community. Let me repeat that. The developers had never communicated at all with the community of the game and developed 7 months of updates. If you're wondering why most of the updates missed so hard, this is the reason. Hopefully, this will mean better updates for later, but no guarantees on that.
Whenever I was first in contact with Libby, we were told that she was conveying messages over between the competitive scene and the developers, which we now find may actually have been true, even though we didn't see any results in the now 4 or 5 months that she's been a community manager before, mainly because the developers decided to make 8 months of content in 3 months before she was hired, which, by the way, she should have been hired way back because I applied for the job in December. So for it to have taken 3 months to hire a community manager is pretty unacceptable, in my opinion, from the side of Congregate. Why did they decide to develop 8 months of content without knowing anything about the competitive scene, which would explain why there's been so many bad developments in the last 8 months or so?
Our last story has to do with why Kong will never support a competitive scene. This was long thought that Kong could try to have something to do with the competitive scene, but Libby has cleared up, basically saying she would never be interested in doing something like that. This is what she's had to say, and I quote, "The policy of Congress is that if we're going to allow linking out of something third party, we need to be able to verify that its context follows our code of content, etc. Because I cannot go out independently and verify that every single client server or even other third-party Surviv communities is following the rules all the time, it is both simpler and better use of my time to not enforce them on our official community platforms." End of quote. More about this, I'm handing it off to Cryptic.
¿Sabes? Coge una cuerda, las amarra y te vas ahora a la playa. Y las echa en el agua. Y con el azahar del agua se limpian las paelleras. Pero acuérdate a dónde las echa.
¿Con el qué?
Con el azahar que tiene el agua de la playa. se limpiaba eso de la paellera que estaban todas mohosas.
Con la sal.
Entiendo, Jesús, me mandó el cocinero por la noche a las 2 de la noche.
Pero te conviene que te entienda alguien más porque para eso cobras.
Ah, bueno, que está arriba. La sal del agua de la playa.
Abajo, los pescadores.
Pescadores, la sal que te echa a la playa.
Eso es.
No es lo de Semana Santa que los naranjos. Y Risita, coge las 20 paelleras, las amarra y las entierra en el agua. Y acuérdate, a donde las echas, que mañana tienes que ir a por ellas. Y cuando salgo, era las 2 de la noche, había bajado la marea. Las dejé amarrar, tal como me lo dijo, las tiré, le puse un palo. Dice, llego a la cocina, eran las 2:30 de la noche. Risita, ¿qué? ¿La has hecho? Allí ya está, jefe. Ya, pues acuéstate, que mañana a las 8 te llamo para que vaya a recoger las paelleras. Y me acuesto Jesús. Y me llama el cocinero. Risita, ¿qué? Ve por la paellera. Venga, que a las 2 de la tarde ya están aquí. Miren, bañador. En las chanclas. Todo despeinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme las chanclas y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. Jesús. Jesús. Había subido la marea y encontré una paella. Y la encontré porque estaba la paellera agarrada metida entre las piedras de Chipiona, del faro. Y cuando entro en el restaurante me ve el cocinero con una paellera y a ver la 20 paelleras. ¡Asómate! ¡Mira dónde llega el agua! Llegaba el agua hasta el restaurante. Había subido la marea. ¡Jesús! ¡Ay, qué hacemos ahora! Con los 2 sacos de arroz. ¡Ay, llama para Sevilla! ¡Llama a Sevilla que traigo paella! ¡Ay! Tú y yo con el bañador y con la paella. El cocinero. No veas, para Sevilla. Y al último, que cuando ya salió la bien de regla, estamos llorando los dos. Me cobró el tío la paella. Me cobró a 500 veces la paella. Y ya no fui más. Me fui andando a coger los amarillos hasta hoy. Me mandó por la noche, había bajado más el agua y por la mañana había subido. Cualquiera estaba donde está la paellera, ¿sabes? A lo mejor está en el barco ese del petróleo.
En el Prestige.
En el Petriense. Y ya no otra vez más la cocina. Ya aborrecí la cocina. ¡Ay! 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 Pues no cobré nada, me dieron el dinero del bote.
That's the end of the show here. If you have any stories you want to cover, please put them down in the comments. I will try to cover them over the next few weeks. Surviv Alert Nation, now over 300 subscribers strong. Continue, hit that sub button, hit that like, comment. I will see you guys all next week. Adios, amigos. The policy of Congress is that it is not, so cut that part out, Cryptic.